What does Eddie Van Halen have to do with Kirsti Cast? Welcome to Kirsti Cast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsti Manna. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Kirsti Cast. I am Kirsti Manna, and I'm not here alone today. Behind the scenes, I have Bill Warner, the mad scientist, directing and producing this crazy podcast. Hope you enjoy it, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. So today we have a really wonderful guest, one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, Shawn Diddy. And when I think about Shawn, I think about the word transcend, because Shawn is definitely transcending in her life right now. But we're going to get to that in the Shiro Spotlight interview with her. So what is it to transcend? Are you transcending? Well, if you're driving a car right now, I hope you're not transcending. I hope you're focused on the road. But to transcend means to go beyond the human experience. And there's ways every day that you can transcend if you don't know how to do that. One of the ways you can do that is you can find a will to find something in your life. Maybe your life doesn't feel very purposeful. That is a way that you can transcend. You can maybe think about what your true calling is. And this is something that I've talked about a lot in a lot of my newsletters and a lot of the content that I've published, is about finding out who you really are, looking at your gifts and see what keeps coming up again and again for you. And that could be something that you could transcend on, so to speak. Something else you can do is create something for the world. I know that you have something that you can create if you're not doing that already. Think about what really inspires you, what gives you a lot of passion and joy, and that's something that can help you transcend. Another thing is to get in touch with nature. I think it's really important to go outside every day and think about sitting under a tree, taking a walk around the block, just really appreciating what you have around you, living in such a great world. So that's another way you can transcend. Something else you can do is you can focus your shift from yourself to other people. And that's great to do if you want to transcend. You can volunteer. You can find a way that you can reach out to others. It could just be in a really small way. It could be helping your neighbor. It doesn't have to do with, uprooting your whole life and moving across the world to volunteer. You can do it right there in your neighborhood. So I hope those are some good tips for you. Now, my Stay Inspired story today is about my experience with going to see Eddie Van Halen. So there we were at the Starwood Amphitheater in Nashville, Tennessee, waiting to see Van Halen. And when Eddie Van Halen hit the stage, it was one of the coolest experiences I ever had as an audience member. I was so inspired watching and listening to him play. And I knew at that moment that I was really watching somebody who had truly transcended playing the guitar. He was one with that instrument, and everything that was coming out of him was such a gift to everybody in that audience. Whether you like Van Halen or not, you really should go check out the amazing artistry of Eddie Van Halen. And so I decided right then and there that I was going to do something with my creativity as well to try to transcend who I was, to not think about it so much, but just really express and get really proficient at my art so that I could go beyond the human experience for me and for everybody who was listening. I hope those tips helped you. Stick around. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned for the Shiro Spotlight. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around, and I'm so excited that you're here for our Shiro Spotlight. Today's guest is somebody who is really transcending to another level. She's a really dear friend of mine, and I want to tell you a little bit about her. You've probably seen her somewhere on TV, maybe Amazon, maybe QVC, maybe Home Shopping Network. She's a branding and marketing consultant, and she's been responsible for selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of product on those channels. Well, now the former Miss Iowa USA is now back in Iowa doing something really unique. She's studying for her doctorate at the Maharishi International University. And she's here today to tell us a little bit about that and just general fun chatting between two old friends. Please welcome Shawn Diddy. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Here in our Shiro Spotlight today is one of my favorite people in the entire world. We'll try to get through this thing without laughing the whole way. She is an amazing entrepreneur. She has been on TV, and she's going to tell you where you may have seen her. She's a huge cat lover, which you've got to love that. And her cat is even with us today on the interview. Cat's name is Binks, and we'll get to that in a second. But please welcome one of my favorite sheroes in the world, Shawn Diddy.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, so
Welcome.
thanks. You saw my cat walk through. She has traveled the country. She's getting her PhD right now. Actually, I am getting my PhD, and she sits in class with me because now we're online.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, and she's been at Kirsti's. Where I was going, Florida, LA to Florida, I think, and stopped in
Oh,
Nashville
yeah. She's been here.
to accommodated Binks.
I was thinking about that. The little bed that she slept in, it was so cute. It was like a little screened in porch kind of thing. I love that. And did you just hear the phone ringing? You know, of course, Bill's going to say, why didn't you turn the phone off? Because you can't ever turn all the phones off. Some of
No.
them still have to be ringing. Well, I'm really glad that you're here. And I have so many questions and we won't be able to get to them all, but we'll have you back and we'll finish the conversation. But one of the first things I wanted to ask you, because I was always, one of these people will like be up at 2:00 in the morning or call my mom, you got to watch Shawn Diddy. She's on QVC right now, So I wanted to ask you, because I just think it's a great talent. How did you stay so creative on QVC and HSN and Shop at Home when you would be selling something and you were just talking about it like you knew, you had invented the thing. It was unbelievable how creative. How did you do that?
The weird thing is I just honestly loved it. I didn't expect to be on TV shopping. I didn't even know what it was. I mean, I was an actor and I went on an audition in Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Right.
My agent was Greer Lang. Thank you, Greer, and she's still in the business. But she sent me on this audition and the guy said, sell me this pen. And I told a story about the pen and how it could sign a divorce decree. It could sign, it just, this whole thing, a pen changes your life. And so every time I got on any of those channels, they would hand us, like this mug, and this one says no drama. And so there's always a story, and so people want to know the story, why it makes their life easier, what it means to them. And then, the dimensions. And so basically I would just put myself in the shoes of the person watching. Yeah. What do they want to know about it? And then also we'd always go on tangents, these weird little, and I think it was all, like you said, authenticity. And we were doing this whole almost what podcasts were, and because we were always live. Yeah. All kinds of things would always happen. And I think it was about just genuinely liking people and talking to that person at home and telling you what I think I would want to know about the product.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just amazing, how it's like, how does she do that? That it was really, really.
And it's kind of the zone, they talk about how, and I talk about transcending a lot in the work that I do, but, athletes get in the zone, or Billie Jean King would talk about the tennis ball would almost be like a basketball to her when she was in the zone. She couldn't miss.
Oh,
and
that's
something
cool.
About when you go live and you've got that great crew, and I have a director in my ear and a producer and the guest, it's almost like an auto race where like the drivers say everything slows down. You would just get in the zone and it would all just work.
Well, I know what you mean by that. I feel like that when I'm doing a speaking engagement, it's like I get in spirit. I don't know what, inspire comes from in spirit, but I don't know what that is. It's an interesting zone you get in. I know exactly what you mean by that. That's a cool way to describe it, the zone. So you have lived so many cool places. What is, in your opinion, one of the most creative cities you've lived in?
So
say Nashville. No, I'm kidding.
For everybody at home, Kirsti told me she was going to ask this question ahead of time. So I did actually have a second to think about this one. And I think you did that because I've moved like 12 times in 12 years.
Yeah.
I loved Nashville. I love LA. LA is one of my favorite. And I guess where I'm going with this is I'm going to break the rules and not say one city. I loved St. Petersburg, Florida. I love Fairfield, Iowa. We have the domes here. So my answer is the most inspiring city if I had to pick one, honestly, LA, because it's the land of misfit toys. It's the person who is the oddball in their hometown and they moved to LA and they're famous, or the person that I love. You have mountains, you have ocean, you have this energy. I love it.
Well, and we got to travel together to some places, and one place we got to go together, we were just talking before we came on, is about being in New York City together when your daughter was really young, and now she's all grown up and going to school there. And New York City for me it's one of my favorite places I've ever been in the whole entire world, and I'm so excited that it's in this country. And I really love it. But I think what I'm getting at too is, there's so many places that people live and they think, oh, this isn't a very exciting, I live here and it's terrible. And I just always think, hey man, make the most out of where you're at, because I've been to really rinky dinky little places and there's always something artsy about every place you go.
Fairfield, we have this, there's a place called Cafe Paradiso that they have an open mic night, and Joni Mitchell's first husband comes and plays. I mean, it's just,
Wow.
We're in Fairfield, Iowa. And again, we're the home of Transcendental Meditation. So stars come here every once in a while for a retreat, but you just never know who's going to show up. And even if it's not somebody famous at that open mic night, these people are talented, and they're stand-up comedy, and we're in a town of 10,000 people, literally right next to the middle of nowhere. The middle of nowhere is like down the street from me.
Wow. I gotta come and see it. And I still want to go to the Iowa State Fair. I mean, come on.
Yes, it's on our list every time.
It's on the list. It's on the list. So tell us what you're doing now.
I am in the final semester of a PhD. Well, so I'm starting my dissertation. It was actually a study done in a prison in Oregon. And actually, it's funny, I always thought I would write about women, and this is a study of just men. But I think that the more things happen in the world, I think we have both masculine and feminine energy. And I think this is going to play into what I've been studying my whole life, which is human potential. And so I'm still trying to write a book that incorporates my life story and my life experiences, hopefully with the scientific information from doing a dissertation and a PhD. Hope to, get on podcasts and talk about ways that people can, be a little less anxiety filled, a little less stress filled. A lot of the studies on transcendental meditation have to do with post-traumatic stress. And so just working on that. I'll either be done in December or maybe June, depending on how it goes. I'm shooting for December.
Yeah.
And not going to beat myself up if it ends up the following June.
Well, you just got to have one more winter in Iowa.
Oh my gosh. That was the whole point. I was like, I have to be done by December. And then a global pandemic hit. And I went, maybe Iowa winter, one more.
Iowa.
Won't be that bad.
Yeah.
One more though. That's it. I paid my dues.
Yeah, I know. Well, I grew up in Ohio, so I didn't quite pay the dues you've paid, but you people from the true Midwest, give me a break. If anybody knows how to do winter, you guys do. So
I forgot how though. I was gone a long time. Yeah, there are some things your body just won't.
Is there such a thing as your blood really getting thin? Because I swear it does. When we go back to Ohio in the wintertime, it's like, why does it have to be so cold? It's only 40 degrees. It's freezing, Oh, gosh. So I know that your daughter, May, is there with you now, and she's doing her online studies from her school in New York City. But I've known her since she was 4 years old. I think I helped with her little birthday party that year.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm so proud of all her achievements and all her successes. And I know she's going to do fabulous things with her art. But how do you feel that you've really affected her and really taught her in the realms of creativity and authenticity?
The funniest thing is she's 20 now, not to age you or me. We were very young.
I can do math and it's depressing. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. I think the thing that I've noticed is she was always watching and listening. Mm-hmm. And I think I want to remind parents of that. And she caught on to some pretty neat, I'm the person that I listen to Esther Hicks and Abraham in the car. so she heard all of these motivational pieces, and now I hear her on the phone because I can eavesdrop because she's home from college, and I'll hear her saying these enlightened things about creativity. And I think that the biggest thing, we always talk about being authentic.
Yeah.
I think she has seen me not be authentic, and she has seen me then not be as successful in that particular endeavor. And
Mm-hmm.
then she has seen me be myself. And I see that in her, that she gets that people see through BS.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so as an actor, I think she really tries to tell the true story and be true to herself. And I hope she keeps doing that, because it's hard. It's hard for all of us.
Yeah. And you've been a single mom for years. And so I think single moms, get the extra medals because they have to be so much to their kids and for what they have to teach them. And in the same time, single parent is trying to keep it floating and provide a great home and all that kind of stuff. And you always did. And we always had fun. And whenever I saw her, she was always laughing, having a good time. And so she grew up a very happy person. And
It's
so
and
congrats.
everybody has their struggles, and I don't know, I'm sure she has plenty of stories about me. And but I think it's so funny that
Let's get
now
her
that
in here.
she's
Tell,
an
let's tell us
adult.
a few. No, I'm kidding.
Woo, yeah, she's got them. But it's funny because I heard her this morning. She was watching a movie and she was actually laughing, but it sounded like she was crying. And I was like, oh, what do I do? I still, that parent
Yeah.
instinct goes like, I have to fix this. And what's interesting is once they become an adult, like my job now, because she is in the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
is to sit back and watch, because there are some lessons that we have to learn in this industry, like the month that you spent too much on entertainment and now you're out of money for groceries.
Yeah.
It's because this becomes, as a freelancer, that becomes the rest of your life.
That's
And
true.
so the hardest part for me now as the parent of an entertainer is to not help,
Yeah.
is to just watch it happen.
That's strong. Yeah, that's some tough love to do that. But my dad and mom used to say that, we have to let you fall so you can figure something out for yourself. And that's hard to do with anybody you love, I think. So that's tough. Well, we were talking before you came on. I want to make sure that you tell us one of your stay inspired stories.
My stay inspired story is kind of, I have a couple of, there are specific instances that are kind of like miracle moments in my life where the universe just kind of swoops in and takes care of me. And the
Yeah.
reason that they're my inspired stories is I finally learned, trust me, I forget, but just when it gets really, really, really bad, something, it's darkest right before the light. So the story I'll tell you is I was in my 20s and I was competing for Miss Iowa USA, and I eventually won. But this was the year that I had bought this dress. By the way, it's not the dress that makes you win, but I was still in that must-have wardrobe. Bought this dress that I could not afford. Charged it with this woman. I didn't even have a credit card. I was making payments on it. And
Wow.
my car, which was not the greatest car in the world, but my car was sitting parked on the side of the road, and someone hit it and totaled it out. And I thought, oh my gosh, now I don't have a car. Well, the insurance check for the car was like within pennies of the amount that I owed on that dress.
Oh, that's
And the
incredible.
person whose house I was parked in front of said, oh, we have this old Chevette. It's in the back. You can have it for $100 if you can get it to run. Well, I'm from a small town. One of my friends went and he's like, oh, the distributor cap is cracked. He blew it dry with a blow dryer, started the car, drove it away, replaced that cap. I drove that car for 2 years, sold it to another friend for $100. He drove it forever. So the universe took care of it. And it's happened. I'll real quick, because I know we've got to go, but there was a time in Nashville where I was doing well. I had this nice refrigerator. It broke. The company said, hey, we'll replace all the groceries in it. So I gave them my receipt and kind of forgot about it. And then as a freelancer, the months came where I had no money for groceries. And I was totally panicked. Walk out to the mailbox, there's that check.
Oh, isn't that
And
beautiful?
I went and bought groceries. So that kind of thing. That's what keeps me inspired, is if you just keep with your regular practice, whether it's meditation or whatever you do,
Yeah.
trust that the universe has your back.
Yeah. You keep the faith. Keep the faith. Big time. So it would not be a conversation with you if we didn't talk about cats, at least for one
Okay.
minute.
Yeah.
You know, all my cats, and some of them have come and gone, of course, and gone on to the great cat heaven in the sky. But you have a very resilient little kitty named Binks, who you named after the cat, I think, in the Hocus Pocus movie, right? Which is one of my favorite movies of all times. And you have brought Binks through, and Binks has stayed here at our house.
She's a right. She was a stray that just showed up at my house in Los Angeles, and we started leaving food out for her. And so then she would start leaving gophers on my front mat. We had a little talk about that, and I told her that was not necessary. And then one day, we saw a snake. She and I was working outside, and I had two older cats at that time. And actually, Sweetie passed away, and we just had Shadow.
Shadow and Sweetie.
Yep, you know them. They were like, again, 19 and 20 when they went on. But a snake went behind us, so I grabbed her, and we went in. And then the next day I just opened the door and let her come in. And I texted my daughter at school. She was in high school at the time. I said, "Oh, Binks came in today." And she said, "Oh, that's good. She's been sleeping upstairs for 2 weeks."
I love it.
Yeah, there's that.
That is so funny. Well, if your cat could describe you, how would the cat describe you?
Oh, goodness. She would probably say wiggly. She's the weirdest cat. She will sleep on my side. Like if I lay on my side, she'll balance.
Yeah.
So I find myself just tapping her before I turn over to say, "Hey, I'm going to move." And then she'll get off, and I'll roll over, and she'll readjust. So I'm still I'm always hyper,
Yeah.
So I'm in many forms of the word wiggly. I'm just always doing something.
I love that. I love that. That's so cute. Well, and you just are so devoted to that cat. When you came to our house, you had the little screened-in porch area. I was like, geez, I want to get myself one of those. This is pretty nice.
She's really, with the empty nesting and then all this crazy traveling, I never thought I would travel with a cat like that. I mean, she's flown. It's just, but until I can get a 140-pound dog again, I'll just have a cat.
I can still see her sitting in the car, sitting there in the front seat, just like, this is what I do. So don't ask me why I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's really, I think what she says is, "I cannot believe we're doing this again."
Hey, I think it's added a lot to her life. That cat's going to live many, many years because she's been through a lot of things. She's going to have a lot of stories to tell. I'm sure she's talking to the other neighborhood cats, like through the window, like,
I'm sure,
away from this house. She'll take you to LA full time.
You'll just get used to the atmosphere, and then she'll pack all the stuff in boxes, and you end up in a car for like days.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Well, we never have enough time together, but we only have a few minutes, so I've just got to ask you a few more things. And one of my questions is, what is your power word or power phrase?
I believe it is transcend, and that means to go beyond the range or limits of. And I think that you just, always believe that you can transcend.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's so good. And you do. You have always gone beyond the limits of many things. And I really respect you for how strong you are and how you're always smiling and you're always so up. And that's some of the things that I love about you, Shawn P. Diddy.
Yes, but
call you.
I'm so lucky that I have resources like you that I can call from the bathroom floor where I'm sobbing hysterically, and you will come over. And I was having a major meltdown. I just remember the one day you're like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like, "Can you just help me with my laundry? I just can't have laundry everywhere."
And you're like, and I was like, "Look, this isn't really what I meant, but I guess I'll come over and sort your underwear." All right. Oh, that's hilarious. So my last question is, if you could finish this sentence, today, the one thing I'm grateful for is
my creative girlfriends.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and you too. I think we're in a weird time as we're recording this, and I know it'll replay and people will watch it, but looking at a time where we're kind of socially isolated, just being able to Zoom like this with you. I have a friend who, just connecting with other women who are creative
Yeah.
has just, I'm so grateful to have you in my life.
Oh,
I'm
thank you. And you too.
honored to be here.
You too. Well, it's really been a pleasure. And where can people find you online?
Well, my website is ShawnDiddy.com. Because somebody told me there's some other Shawn Diddy out there. My Twitter is also Shawn Diddy, but if you do Facebook and Instagram, it's Shawn M. Diddy.
Okay.
Because, P. Diddy's someone else.
Yeah,
I'm She Diddy.
he's
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes, and he will never be you.
No.
There's
Yeah.
no way
She Diddy, the country music version.
Right, exactly. Well, I hope that everybody stops by to see you, and I always love your Facebook posts. They're always really great. And so everybody go check Shawn Diddy out, and we hope you'll stick around. We'll be right back. Thanks, Shawn.
You're my hero, more than a hero, and I look up to you every single day. Every day, my celebration, my inspiration is to be like you, but in my own way. You're my hero, more than
Thank you, Shawn. What a great interview. Well, I don't know if you know that I am a songwriter based out of Nashville, and I wanted to play you a song. And this is one of Shawn's favorite songs that I've written, with something recorded by Big and Rich. This is Loud. Listen up, shout it out, everybody in the house. Stomp your feet, clap your hands, come on, kick it with a band. I'm all about tradition, I hang with the twang. I got just one condition now. I like it loud, I like it honky. The party won't be raving till we crank it to 11. Get it, get boots and naked. I'm gonna say it loud. I love my country and I like it loud, yeah. Well, you can go check out more of my songs at Kirsti.com, and we'll be right back with our next segment.
What the tech? What the tech?
tech.
What the tech? Well, I thought it would be fun to do a segment called What the Tech, because that's usually what I'm saying when it comes to anything technical. Raise your hand if you are technically challenged like me. Thank God for Bill, because he calls himself 24/7 tech support. And trust me, I'm always asking him tech questions like, how do I turn on my iPhone? No, I'm not that bad, but I'm close. Well, anyway, one app that I use almost daily when I'm creating songs and when I'm trying to remember something like a recipe is an app called Voice Record Pro. This is a really good app. The icon is this real cute little microphone. You can find it in the App Store. And if you're at all into creating, I mean, if you want to make up melodies, if you have something you want to remember, if you want to recite a poem, just anything at all, it is the best app. This app is so incredible because it allows you to make MP3s, send something to Dropbox, send it to your co-writer, send it to yourself in a text and an email. The list is endless of what this app is capable of. And also what's so cool is you can just put it on record and you can just talk for days, and that file will just keep going. But always remember to send it to yourself and then delete the file so you don't have to eat up all that memory space on your phone. It is truly one of the best apps that I've ever used. I hope you're going to get yourself Voice Record Pro. I think it's about $4.99. That's all for me today for What the Tech.
What the tech? What the tech?
Tech.
All right, if you know me at all, you know that I am a huge, there aren't enough huges in that line, cat lover. How many cats do you need? Apparently all of them. And I think Bill and I have actually owned all of them. At one time, I think we had, this sounds like a crazy number, but we had something like 8 cats. Okay, so one of them lived outside, but we were still feeding them. Well, now we're down to 3 cats, Big Fluff, Henry, and Chili. And we love them dearly. Now, I don't know if you love cats out there, but if you do, I hope that you are going to be sending me pictures and stories about your cats, because I would love to share them with our listeners and our viewers. Well, let me just tell you a quick story about Big Fluff. Big Fluff is completely in love with Henry. I don't know if you remember that Warner Brothers cartoon where, there was the big bulldog and he was walking along, the other little dog would be jumping over him. I think the big bulldog's name was Spike. That's Henry and Big Fluff. Henry just lays there and Big Fluff just looks at him lovingly, just waiting for him to give him a big lick in the face or maybe a swat. But it doesn't matter. Whatever Henry does, Big Fluff forgives him. Isn't that the way the world should be? Anyway, hope you're going to send me pictures and stories about your cats. Email them to me at info@songwritergirl.com.
Not bow wow, meow. Not bow wow, meow. Not bow wow, meow. Not bow wow.
I want to give a big shout out to some people that helped me a lot with my cats here in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's the Lebanon Road Animal Hospital. Dr. Wyatt Cleveland is the vet there, and my dear friend Dr. Kay Baker is also a vet there sometimes. And the staff there is just wonderful. They're so helpful. They really, really love animals. So if you're in Nashville and you're looking for a new veterinarian, check out Lebanon Road Animal Hospital. They're located in Hermitage, Tennessee. Thanks so much, everybody there. And the cats say thank you, too. Well, it's time for us to say goodbye. I can't believe how fast the time has flown. But I want to thank my guest, the incomparable Shawn Diddy, for being with us today. It's always so much fun to be with Shawn. And also I want to thank our sponsors, Outreach U and Warner Works. You can find warnerworks.net online. I hope you'll go check them out. If you need production or recording, don't forget to call Bill Warner at Warner Works. Also, please visit me at Kirsti.com or at songwritergirl.com. And I would love to help you if you need help with your career path, and you want to have a mentor. Please email me at info@songwritergirl.com. I would love to work with you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you think that you know somebody that would make a great guest, or you would like to be a guest on Kirsti Cast, please email me at that magic email, info@songwritergirl.com. Hope you're going to have a wonderful creative week until we see each other again. Whatever you do, stay inspired. You've been listening to Kirsti Cast.